Alrighty, honestly, South Park doesn't really need an introduction. If you don't know what South Park is, get out from under your rock and go look up what South Park is. But we're just gonna get straight into this video today. South Park has an instantly recognizable and crude art style, but what I'm extremely interested in is the art before the show gets fully animated in Maya. I think one of the most interesting things about the South Park production is just how different the initial storyboards and the art style look from what you actually see when it airs on Comedy Central. So today I thought it'd be a nice little fun walk down memory lane to look at some of my favorite pieces of concept and production art from the South Park team. While I had to dig through essentially every piece of art I could possibly find online, this is not a collection of all that art. This is just my personal favorites and picks, specifically weird and funny ones, and we'll get into why. I think it's best if we do this in order of the appearance of the episode, so let's start with Awesome-o. This is the first thing I really enjoy about South Park production art, is I really like the storyboarding style that the artists use. Here we can also see a reference sheet for an exhausted Cartman as Awesome-o after he's already gone to LA and gone through all the trials Butters had made him go through. Let's move on to the next episode, Make Love Not Warcraft. There's nothing particularly crazy about this episode with production art released. All we really have is the script cover and a couple storyboards. But you can start to see this storyboard artist is getting a bit more expressive with the boys than you would normally see in the regular show. Also, what the fuck did June do? Jumping forward a few seasons, we can see our favorite gay fish in action, with this storyboard of him trying to figure out why he is a gay fish for liking fish sticks. We also get to see some alternate designs for him, and we also get to see those nice Yeezy feet. Here we're able to see Butters' office signs from his hugging business, as well as a reference sheet for Butters with his specific hairstyle for this episode. What is he looking at here? Here from the episode, The Return of the Fellowship of the Ring to the Two Towers. Here we have a couple character reference sheets for Cartman and Jimmy for their fantasy designs, as well as a couple special pose reference sheets just for Butters. Butters seems to have a lot of special pose sheets. Here from the episode Scott Tenorman Must Die, we can see a reference sheet for Scott Tenorman, a reference sheet for Cartman after he's walked the 100 miles. We also have reference sheets for each of the members of Radiohead. As we go forward with our look at the show, we're going to start noticing that storyboards are going to get a lot more detailed, and character reference sheets for special poses and special appearances are going to be getting a bit more detailed. Like here in the episode Grounded Vindaloo. We not only get the reference for Cartman in VR, but we also get an idea of what props should be around him while he is in VR. Here we have a special reference sheet just for Butters punching his dad in the balls. I'm a big fan of how expressive he is in the storyboard here. We also get a nice diorama of what exactly is happening in the episode, as the episode deals with VR Matrix bullshit. Here we can see some of the kids' Halloween costumes from the episode The Scoots. Really like the Fortnite Halloween costumes on some of these. Here we have some special poses from the Black Friday episode for Cartman on his carriage, as well as an anime Cartman and an anime ship captain also tying into the same episode. We also get to see a nice full clean image of Cartman's poster promoting the Xbox One this Black Friday. There's one character in particular with a lot of reference sheets though, and I really want to go over just him in particular. If you haven't guessed, we're talking about Randy, the best character in the show. Here's a reference sheet for Randy as Lord. I think what really makes this one for me is the note at the bottom left that just says legal approved. Here we can see some special Randy bro-down poses from the episode Broadway Bro-down, the 220th episode of the show. I don't know why I said that part. It's also from this episode we get to see some really awesome Spider Randy references. I'm just gonna leave these on for a second so we can look at them. Alright, that's enough time. Here we can see Randy after he donated $1 to hungry kids to avoid getting charity shamed at a Whole Foods. Here's a reference for Randy as well as a few other adults. Not sure what's specific about this one, but the title of this piece says they have shoes on, so shoes. Here's a nice hungover Randy reference for him as a PC pledge. And last but absolutely certainly not least, my favorite piece of Randy concept art, Minecraft Randy from the episode Informative Murder Porn, one of my personal favorites. Speaking of video games, let's quickly talk about the South Park games concept art really quick. There isn't a ton of production reference sheets out there from the games, mostly because they just used the standard reference sheets from the show, but we also do get a nice look at some backgrounds and some in-game assets that we get to see. I'd like to quickly give a shout out to David Pellet, the lead designer on South Park Phone Destroyer, because he's also a concept artist on Garfield Kart, and that's really funny to me. I'd love to wrap this video up by just talking about how absurd South Park is. Regardless of what you think of the show, I feel like it's hard to deny that this show is absolutely overflowing with its creative prowess. We've seen some really weird art here, we've also seen some really cool art here. It's just a really interesting thing to see. And as the show is about to enter its 26th season, we have to wonder, is South Park going to end anytime soon? The current deal they have inked with Viacom shows the show isn't going to be ending until at least season 30, with like 11 more Paramount Plus movies on the way. And a lot of people, including myself, are starting to worry that they might be running out of ideas for episodes. But as I worked on this video, researched the production art, watched more South Park to get ready for it, I realized that they really do know what they're doing. Matt and Trey have expressed before that they do want the show to end at some point. They don't want to overstay its welcome, and I don't think they're there quite yet. This show is an incredibly unique piece of television, and it's probably the only kind of thing we'll ever get. We will never in our lives see another show that has a 6-day turnaround time for episodes, and potentially even less in case they misread something, like the 2016 presidential election, where they had to rework almost the entire episode in one night. One day, Matt Stone and Trey Parker will announce the show is ending, but as long as Earth stays as goofy and wacky as it has been, and their creative team can keep coming up with these silly ideas, I don't think we have anything to worry about the show ending anytime soon. That's all I've really got to say about South Park. Thanks for watching this video and listening to me ramble on about production art in the show. This has been a JeanieBoxx video production. If you liked this video, like it and subscribe. And if you did like it and you don't do that, fucking lock your door.